So there's a notion that money has nothing to do with art. I saw somebody make this comment the other day. NFTs are taking off, and some of it is artificial, some of it is FOMO, some of it is just something new and exciting, right? But there was a criticism of NFTs and the notion that money has nothing to do with art. And what I said was, well, please, let Windsor and Newton, let Strathmore, let Prismacolor know that. Let them know. Let the Adobe Photoshop suite and everything, please let them know that. Because then, I would get my paints for free, and, I wouldn't have to pay for my canvas or my software that I record and edit on and that I do my photoshopping on. I wouldn't have to pay for it because money has nothing to do with art, right? And then also, hop in a DeLorean, go back and tell Vincent van Gogh the same thing. Tell it to his belly that has nothing, money has nothing to do with art. And that brings me to the Artunity in a way, of course, naturally, because, Van Gogh is the poster child of the starving artist. And with Artunity, my platform that I've been striving to get done, like a starving artist, I've been trying to build this thing like Leonardo da Vinci or like Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel, trying to get this piece of artwork that happens to be a platform for artists developed. It creates the opportunity for you to donate to an artist for a chance to win a work of art. Imagine Instagram meets GoFundMe with a Las Vegas twist on it, right? So community, the notion of the royalty, NFTs, they say, well, artist gets a royalty. That's literally in my business plan from 2015, that whenever something moves through the Artunity platform, that the artist would get a royalty of 10% anytime something sells. Artunist. You hear that? A little slip up? Probably a word for something. An opportunist that happens to be an artist, an Artunist. So anyway, this is what I'm saying. Van Gogh, art has nothing to do with money. It's an obscene notion. It's part of that cliche. Like I say, I'm ready to cut off both of my ears before I listen to that starving artist cliche anymore, because it has nothing to do. Art and money has nothing to do with each other. Allows that to exist. That you're just supposed to create in this vacuum, and that you should starve while you create. It does not serve us. It does not serve artists. It does not serve culture. And it doesn't serve the truth. It's ridiculous, right? So, but what got me recording and really thinking about this right now was the reality that I feel like I have some really promising things about to happen with my art. And to the point that, I was just helping, I just got off some Zoom calls to help a couple of people understand NFTs, and another guy that was asking me to help him create this piece of art that I really want to, but my time is just going, And so as I'm thinking about this and thinking about how much time that I have or don't have, the decision-making process on what I create is pretty heavy, right? So why it's important, and where it's when you say that money should have nothing to do with art, and why that's, I think, an obscene notion, is because as an artist myself, that primarily doesn't do anything but my art, and I make a modest, sometimes barely scraping by living from it, currently, that my artistic integrity, as far as my time goes, says that sometimes I have to draw and paint and design things that I wouldn't choose to do with my time if I had the option. So there's this argument, supposedly, that the person who says that art has nothing to do with money is trying to make, that says, well, it shouldn't be influencing the decisions that you make. But however, if you're making art and it's helping you make a living, and because you need that to, one, fulfill your spiritual, what you feel rolling around inside, and this is who you are, your daimon, your spirit, you have to do this. And simultaneously, you can't work in any other field because this is what you have to do, this is what you're called to do. Then you're going to make decisions that help you pay the bills. So the opposite is actually true, where art in a way has everything to do with money. Because the more free that I am to know that I don't have to worry about where my next mortgage payment is coming from, the more free I am to choose to do whatever I want. And then that means I get to be the artist I want to be. And now you could have a different method set up to where you don't have to necessarily, you're not using your art to pay your bills, and that would be a separate story altogether. But even then, it doesn't matter because your time is arrested. Your time is arrested by your 9 to 5 or whatever it is that you do. And so you can make that time, but to get into the space where all you do is create, and all you do is what this art is that you choose, you would be making a more pure decision. Now, of course, there are people, I would say, to play the devil's advocate in this thought, there are people who are after the money and are after creating art. So they might create art specifically that goes to get that money. And in that case, there's, I guess, a certain criticism that you could have of that. Not my business, and I don't care about it. Get yours and do what you do. It's a different hustle and a different grind, but that's okay. But from what I'm saying, in the notion of a person who's chasing the purity of wanting to create and talk to people and influence culture and examine things, the more free I am, by the more that I don't have to worry about stuff around me, my bills, my mortgage, my car payments, then I'm going to create art that is untouched by any other influence in that regard, and not by time, because again, even if you're working a 9 to 5, we're still arrested by time that we have to create. So I guess that's my piece. Peace.